Hello everyone, in this lecture we are going to learn relationship and relationship sets. Along with this we have several other concepts, that is mapping cardinalities and types of relationship sets. Let us see one by one. Firstly, what is a relationship and what are relationship sets? A relationship is defined as a connection or association between several entities. Let us take this example, that is student as one entity, course as another entity. So what is the relationship between these two? Student studies in any course. So here studies or enrolls is a relationship between these two entities, and the relationship is represented using a rhombus symbol. Coming to relationship set, it is a set of relationships of the same type. For example, we'll take example as an entity, or else there might exist some other relationships which may also contain several attributes. In this example, the attributes which correspond to a student entity may be student ID and student name. There may be several other attributes also. Coming to course, we can give attribute as course ID and course name. And the student who is studying in this course. So we can also give SID, that is student ID, as an attribute for this course entity. When coming to the relationship sets, there exists a relationship which may also contain an attribute. For example, we take employee as an entity and another entity as department. Department contains attributes like department ID, department name, and employee contains attributes like employee ID and employee name. The relationship between employee and department is employee, there can be a manager responsible in managing the activities of the department. And this relationship is associated with an attribute which is known as a descriptive attribute. And here we can write since how long time the manager is managing the departmental activities. The attribute which is associated to a relationship is termed as descriptive attribute. Now coming to mapping cardinalities. What do you mean by this mapping cardinalities? Simply mapping cardinalities defines the number of entities that are associated with another entity. Here you can see there is one entity, it is associated with the another entity. Likewise, we have different types in mapping cardinalities, and it is simply defined as the number of entities which have connection or association with some another entity through a relationship. Let us see the types of mapping cardinalities. The first one we have is one-to-one mapping cardinality. For example, there is a head or head of the department for only one branch. So this head of the department is going to handle the activities related to that corresponding branch. And hence we can say that the relationship between the head entity and the branch entity could be handles. And the next one is one-to-many relationship. Here there exists one customer who places many orders, and many is represented using this star symbol, and there exists one customer who places many orders. This is an example for one-to-many. Many-to-one. Coming to many-to-one mapping cardinality, there may exist many students who have enrolled at least one course. In simple words, we can define many-to-one as an entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B, and an entity in B is associated with any number of entities in A. This is known as many-to-one mapping cardinality. There exists many number of students who has to enroll at least one course, and there may exist one course which is enrolled by many number of students. This is an example for many-to-one. And coming to many-to-many, it is very simple. Here we have many number of teachers who teaches many number of students. Technically, we define it as an entity in A and B are associated with any number from each other. This is known as many-to-many mapping cardinality. And coming to the types of relationship sets. Basically, it is divided into three types. One is unary relationship, and the second one is binary relationship set, and the third one is ternary relationship set. Firstly, let us see what is unary relationship set. It is a relationship set where only one entity set participates in a relationship set, which means there exists only one employee who manages all the data in the employee database. This is an example for unary relationship. And coming to binary, binary is what we know binary means two. Here we have two entity sets and the relationship that exists between these two entity sets. For students, the attributes may be student ID and name, and to retrieve the student record uniquely, we may make student ID as a key attribute, and there exists a relationship called enrolled in relationship with the course entity, and courses are having two other attributes like course ID and course name. In order to retrieve the course name uniquely, we have course ID as a primary key in this courses entity. Now, there exists n number of students who can enroll in n number of courses. So this is an example for binary relationship set. Coming to ternary relationship sets, ternary, the word ternary means what? There are three entity sets and they are associated with one relationship set. Here we have doctor as an entity set, patient as an entity set, and one more is medicine as an entity set. So what is the relationship between these three? Prescribes is a relationship. That is, doctor is going to prescribe for many number of patients. Here there is only one doctor, prescribes many number of patients with the many medicines. And doctor ID and name are the attributes given for this entity. Patient ID and name are the attributes for the patient entity. Code and name is the attributes that which you have given for medicine. And the relationship between these three entities is prescribes is the relationship set. Coming to participation constraints. Participation constraints are classified into two types, namely total participation constraint and the other one is partial participation constraint. Here we'll take an example and will make you know what is total participation constraint. There exists many number of employees who works for many number of departments. The number of relationships in every entity is involved is greater than 0. Definitely there must exist number of employees working for n number of departments, and hence it is represented using two lines. Two lines is a representation for total participation set. And coming to partial participation of an entity set, here we have a diagram which depicts an employee manages a department. Here it is optional. There may exist one employee who may be able in managing the departmental activities or he may not manage the departmental activities. And this is an example for partial participation of an entity set. Thank you.